My video for October the 28th, 2019 is video number 3250. The title is Experience and Perceptions, Parent Beliefs. Pondering, that's what I do. I ask why again and again as I reflect on events. I have witnessed people who went from being true believers to atheists because of personal experience and the conclusions drawn therefrom. What creates terrorism? What creates crime? How do people become psychotic? Yes, I do think there are reasons for an individual's conclusions. The child whose entire family was killed in a horrible accident and was the lone survivor. The lady who developed cancer, lost both breasts, and was subjected to chemotherapy, radiation, and other life-debilitating treatments. Perceptions are drawn from these and other terrible experiences. I had my non-mortgaged home stolen by attorneys and a crooked judge. We all have reasons why, when our beliefs are challenged, that we may change our minds. Not many are like Job in the Bible, who said, "The Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the Lord." Can we rise above such perceptions and still love one another? And this is probably the earliest I've made a video in a long time, because it won't go live for, it's just past 6:30 in the morning, and it won't go live till midnight tonight. So that is not usual for me, but as I lay in bed this morning pondering these very things that created this video, actually, or the thoughts that created this video, I came to the computer and wrote down the blurb, and here I am recording just a little while later. Thankfully, on Sundays, I don't have to go to the park quite as early as I do on every other day of the week. So this is being recorded, of course, on a Sunday morning. Anyway, folks, I have a personal friend who was very much involved in the church that I belonged to for quite some time, and ended up having debilitating cancer, and has gone through various treatments, including removal of both breasts and other treatments that are very life-threatening. Now, this person maintains actually a very loving attitude, but calls herself an atheist. I get it. I really do get it. And I watched a video, I don't remember, a week or two ago, that came to mind as I was laying there pondering this morning. And it was about a young man in his early teens, early to mid-teens, and he was not in the vehicle, but the car that his whole family, his mother, father, and siblings, were all in a car that was involved in a horrible accident, and all of them were killed. He was the lone survivor, and he became a murderer after that. And it was heartbreaking in a way. He had tattoos all over his body, wore I don't know what you call them, the things in your nose and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to judge those things, but I don't understand them either, because it's not something I would ever do. But people do things for various reasons. And I, of course, have a problem with attorneys and judges who operate what to me is a criminal thing. When I could not present the evidence, including unrebutted affidavits in the court case, when they ended up stealing my home that never had a mortgage on it. And if they had allowed me to follow the process of what was going on in my life when my spiritual mom, Dr. Mary, died, she left me half of her estate. And I don't want to go into the details of this. I've talked about it in other videos. But I ended up having my home stolen. Just pure and simple as that. I'm appreciative of what I have, and I could have responded differently than I did. We all choose to respond according to the pain and the things that we feel, the things that we perceive as reality. And people say, but it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's just a play. It's just a drama that's being acted out. Has no real meaning, because reality is not physical. It's not in three-dimensional physical worlds. It's somewhere else in the, quote, heavens, if you will. Well, that's hard for me still to get my mind around and to fully understand. Now, yes, I've had spiritual experiences, as many others do as well, where for a brief period of time, I seem to be in an elevated consciousness where I have talents, gifts, and abilities that all of a sudden are there, and I may not even recognize they're there, except for what other people tell me their experience was in what I did. Like the fellow that that went to my friend who went and accepted Jesus, and he says, "How did you do that?" When I went up to the altar and prayed with him, "What do you do? What?" He says, "I would think a question, and you would answer the question." How do these things happen? I didn't even know that was happening, and I wouldn't have known if he hadn't said, "This is what I experienced." You know, I knew what I was experiencing, and it wasn't exactly what he was experiencing, but the two dovetailed. And lots of things in our lives, if we can take a step back and reflect and meditate and think about these things, we can draw certain conclusions and we can determine how we're going to respond. My friend who lost both of her breasts became an atheist, but still is a loving person. I now call myself an agnostic because I don't know why a loving God would allow this deception to go on and on and on, and not just allow the deception to go on, but allow the worst deceivers among us, fallen angels, if you will, to rise up and become leaders of a world where everything is based on deception. Oh, I can't understand how Job could say, the Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. You know, I can't understand that in the context of what Job experienced and what many others experienced. He drew a conclusion that, to me, is very idealistic. And most of us are more realistic. We deal with things, you know, many blame God. Do I blame God for the loss of my house? No, I blame a corrupt system. I blame a system that has empowered those that are liars and politicians and money changers and people that have very greedy and very self-centered perceptions and goals. They want to control others, and people want to control others because, I think, because they don't know who they are themselves. That's why they don't have empathy. That's why they have so much trouble actually loving and caring. But I can see how some of these perceptions change the way that we live our lives. And we need to think about these things. Thank you, folks, again for listening, and namaste.